Practical faith. Morning, how you doing? This morning's devotional just continues from what we've been doing the last couple of devotionals, and it's, stays on Exodus, stays on Moses, but there's an interesting character that I want to highlight. If you go to Exodus 18, okay, this guy's name is Jethro. Now he's Moses' father-in-law. He's not a Israelite. He's from the land of Midian. He's also from the desert of Sinai, in that area, that region. So he's a very different, in this case, is a very different race. He's from a different people than Moses. But if you look at how they work together well here. Now, Moses married his daughter Zipporah, and we see that a whole lot has happened. They've exited to Egypt, they've parted the Red Sea, they went through the waters. There's so much that happened, and they meet up. And all of a sudden he starts telling, if you go read Exodus 18, I think it's verse 7, verse 8, he starts telling, Moses starts telling his father-in-law how great God is. And Jethro replies, I see that your God is more powerful than all the other gods. That's the first admission of someone who is not from the same tribe, because all of them had their own gods. All of them worshipped their own figures and statues and whatever else. So none of them had one God that they would all look up to. Everyone had their own cup of, own philosophy, if you want to put it like that. It's kind of like our day and time. Nothing has changed. Look at the world around you. Nothing really has changed. It's just, who do you believe is your true God? We know the true God is. And his name is Jesus Christ. But I don't want to get off here. Now, two things that I want to get to is Jethro starts seeing how Moses does everything. But that time, everyone whoever had like a small little niggle, everyone would go up to Moses and they would complain to Moses. And come verse 17, Jethro starts looking and he replies to Moses. It says verse 17, Moses' father-in-law replied, What you're doing is not good. You see, these people who come to you will only wear yourselves out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. And this is where I want to go with this message today. Is, guys, a lot of times we try and take everything on alone. At work, at home, you try and do everything. And then you wear out because you want everything to be perfect in your head. You know what? The house must be clean. This must be done. At work, you always want to be ahead. And you are trying so hard that you wear yourself out that a lot of times we forget that we must rest in Jesus Christ. And Jethro, who's from Midian, comes and reminds him, his father-in-law chats him and said, you know what? This is too much for you to handle alone. Guys, find people. And then he gives him practical advice. The best thing about the practical advice, he says, go find men capable. Go find all types of men capable who are God-fearing men. Who are men who fear you, and go hand them responsibilities. Let's work together. And this is a message that is imprinted in my heart this morning is, let us work together. Let us talk to each other. Let us find out what happens. You know what? Real friends give and receive from each other. Not just give and not just receive. It's a double blessing. It goes both ways. Guys, who are the people in your lives? I know I've done a similar message to this. Who are the people in your lives? Surround yourselves with proper people, with proper friends. Friends who are not saved. Testify the word to them. Show them how good God is. Tell them how good God is. And then you start praying. You say, okay, Lord, you take over. Holy Spirit, you convict them so they can be turned. Because, your heart for them is to be saved. But guys, who are we surrounding ourselves with? And Moses had a father-in-law, I think we all kind of want. That person in our lives to give us practical advice to kind of realize this is the situation. Maybe it's time to change something. What must you change? Are you trying too much? Maybe is it just listening to your friends more? Or maybe, and I think maybe this is the one case, sometimes we get too busy with the things of God that we're not getting busy with God himself. And I've seen this in people. They get so busy with things in the church, which is good. But it's a Mary and Martha, It's a whole Mary and Martha story where we see Mary falling at Jesus' feet and Martha trying to do everything else, trying to fix the house, trying to get this ready, trying to prepare the food, that we're not spending time with Jesus Christ. Guys, look at your friends. Surround yourselves with God-fearing people. And then rest in God's rest. Rest in God Himself, in Jesus Christ Himself. Let's not get too busy doing the things for Him. Let's get busy with Him. And I think, you know what, there's wisdom that we have to take into both of them. And we will see how our life will change. Guys, blessings until tomorrow.